I just wanted, before this night and before this season of ASM really started, I wanted y'all to hear from a member of the ASM household and give him an opportunity to give y'all a word, just to talk to y'all about what's going on with ASM and what's going on in his life. So would y'all please welcome to the stage Mr. Hagan Harrison. Come on.
Thank you. Oh, man. Yeah, you guys can be seated. First off, if you haven't already heard or, are new here or whatever that might look like, you may realize or maybe kind of wondering, why is Josh the one that's kind of up here doing all this stuff? Well, Josh, if you haven't already heard, is ASM's new student ministry director. So can we just give it up for Mr. Josh right here, first off? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I've been the director here for the last 3.5 years, and it has been incredible. I just want to start by thanking the pastors of this house, our leadership team in this house, who gave me that opportunity 3.5 years ago to come in and be the student ministry director of Agape Church. It's been an incredible blessing. It's helped me grow in many ways. I've gotten to develop great friendships and relationships, but not just with the students, but with some of you parents. And it's just been a really good time. And I'm not leaving. I'm not moving somewhere else. I'm just transitioning to a new role here at our church. So I'm still around. But yeah, it's just been an incredible journey for the last 3.5 years to get to serve you guys, just to kind of get to know you all. And so I'm very incredibly grateful for that. To you parents who are in the room that I've gotten to know over the last few years, you guys have made this job incredibly easy. Anytime I've needed something, y'all have been there, you've done it, you've taken care of it. And I know that's kind of a cliche thing to say, or, if you need anything, you let me know. That sounds good, but y'all have really, every single time I've needed something, you've stepped up. And you not only have delivered, but you've made it so much better than what I had originally even asked. So I'm grateful for you parents who have played a part in this student ministry and just been a part of not only my life, but the students' lives, and just for what that means and for what that holds. To you students, man, I've enjoyed getting to watch you guys grow up. I actually was looking at some pictures about a week or so ago of when I first moved here, and it's so weird seeing little baby Gavin, little baby Micah and Gracie, just as just little things. Now y'all are just grown up, not just in height or anything, but you've grown into amazing, young men and women of God. So I'm just grateful for you guys. It's so great to see you all grow and just be consistent in who you are and let the Lord continue to work in your life. So shout out to you all. I'm excited for what this new season holds. I think, I say this first off, let me say this, just to kind of encapsulate what I just said, kind of going back to you parents. I mean this part with every single fiber of my being. I think we have the most well-behaved, most well-respected group of kids a student ministry could ever ask for. Yeah, give it up for them. That's not me just saying that because it sounds nice. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard, how many other student ministers I've talked to where it's just they have a problem with this kid, or they got to deal with this situation, or they got this going on. I am so grateful to have not had any kind of problem or deal my entire time here that I can think of. And I think that's a testament to you parents. You guys have raised really, really incredible young men and women of God. And so thank y'all for that, because you've made my job here a lot easier. I've never had to really stay on somebody about anything. Anytime I've asked them to do something, they've done it. Anytime I've told them hey, let's knock that off, they've done it. There's never been any kind of backlash or anything like that. So thank y'all for that. But kind of getting back to what I was saying a second ago, I'm excited for this new season. I'm excited for where ASM is going. I know some of the stuff that God's put on Josh's heart to where he wants to lead this. And I truly believe that, yes, he's 22. He's 22, so he's on the younger side. But believe me when I tell you, I don't think there's another person on this entire planet that could come into this role and do a better job than what I believe he's going to do. I think he's not only mature enough to come and take over and do a good job. He's not irresponsible. I think he has every quality that we need to take this where it needs to go. And not just take it where it needs to go, but take it further than what I think he believes is capable. And so I'm excited for this new season. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with it. He's been very, I don't want to say content, but as long as I've been here, he's kind of just been in that internship role. And I know how that can be at times when you're just there for so long and you're kind of like, when am I going to get my chance? When am I going to get my shot? And he never, not once, asked for that. He never made it a thing where it's like, I want my chance or I'm out. He's sat there and he's been consistent in his serving. He's been consistent in the word. He's been consistent in his worship and his life for the Lord. And he's continued to grow day in and day out to become the man of God that he is today, to where he's able to take this and run with it. So he's the person that's going to take this where it needs to go. He's the person that's going to elevate it higher than I ever could. And to be able to, I guess, pass the mantle on to anybody else, there's nobody else I'd rather do it to than you. I think y'all are very blessed with who you have coming in to lead this student ministry. I know he's got some incredibly exciting things that he wants to do, and he's going to share with you guys what that looks like tonight, I believe. So can we give a huge round of applause to your new student ministry director of ASM, Mr. Joshua Pugh?
Hagen's going to have me crying before I even get up here. I love that. Yeah, I know that might have seemed weird and might have seemed like a weird transition that we just did. I just want to honor the people that have spoken in this house and spoken into your lives and been a part of this ministry for so long and has done such a great job. And Hagen is I don't know where he's at now. He might be back upstairs. But Hagen is one of my best friends. I love him to death and just wanted to honor what he's done in this house and in this student ministry. Hagen is still around. Hagen's getting married in like 3 months. Claire, how many days is it? Is it 82 days? It's something like that, and just sending him out, and not sending him out, he's staying in-house, but just sending him to what God has called him for and what God has for him in this church. Incredibly honored to fill in, and not fill in, but just take over where Hagen left off. I'm excited, so excited. So as we get ready to start tonight, I just kind of want to talk about a direction that we're heading with ASM. And I want to be upfront and very honest with you that a lot of the vision that I have for ASM is birthed out of a trip that me and Hagen got to take, and Gavin and Gracie, that we all got to take to Atlanta this past July and experience with the Atlanta Dream Center Church. And we really just caught vision and caught a heart for what God is doing, not in Agape Church, but for what God is doing in the capital C church, the church overall, God's church, his people. So as we kick off this semester, I want to share from my heart where I want to see ASM go. Another big part of where this is stemming from is from a message that I got to hear back in February of this past year from Pastor Chris Hodges from Church of the Highlands. He gave a message titled, "They Want Us to Fight for Them." And all that message was just talking about this generation right here, these students that you see on these first couple rows that we get to call Generation Z. And this generation has seen so much in their time. They've been through so much in their time, and a lot of them aren't even 15 years old yet. So I wanted to do some research, and I wanted to look up some stuff. So here's some basic statistics about Generation Z. I think we got some notes. Generation Z, the first thing is Generation Z makes up 26% of the population. I say that to say this. Generation Z isn't this small generation, this small cluster of students. This is a big part of our population, a big part of our world. I say all that to get you to these statistics. The second thing is Generation Z is the least religious generation of all time. 2/3 of Generation Z are unchurched, and that 1/3 that's left over, it's estimated that 2/3 are going to walk out and never step into a church again. The third thing, the American Psychological Association, the APA, reports that 90% of Gen Z experience psychological or physical symptoms as a result of stress in the last year. 70% of Gen Z says that anxiety and depression are significant problems among their peers. 30% of parents surveyed felt that their child was experiencing negative effects on their emotional or mental health due to social distancing and school closures. And 25% of Gen Z reports experiencing emotional distress, nearly double the levels reported by older generations. Statistics also report that over 50% of Generation Z spends an average of 10 hours per day on their cell phone, which limits the amount of in-person contact with others and can create feelings of isolation and loneliness. Those are a lot of statistics. Here's what Generation Z is regarded as. They're regarded as the loneliest generation. A statistic that was taken in 2019 before COVID ever even started. COVID was no help whatsoever. They're also regarded as the most desensitized generation. Watching catastrophes and disasters such as 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, both school shootings and public shootings, wars, financial recessions, political and social unrest, and now a global pandemic plays on repeat and repeat and repeat on every social media and news station that is available. All notched under their belt before they even graduate high school. Now those are scary statistics, but here's my favorite one, and I mean this with all sincerity. My favorite one is this. They are the most open generation to talking about God and Jesus. With reportedly 80% of Generation Z having conversations about God often. And that covers people who are involved in church and people who are not involved in church. So I came here tonight to say, we read the statistics, we hear about what's going on with this generation, we hear about what's going on with this group of kids, and we hear everything that's negative about them without ever once speaking life into them. As student ministry director, I see the issues with Gen Z. I see the issues that y'all face every single day, the issues that y'all are about to walk into for years to come. But before we talk about any of that, I just want to speak life into y'all. Speak about what we can see happen with y'all. If this generation gets lit on fire for the Lord, which I believe it is. I so believe it is. I've been talking to people around this county and people around this country, folks that I get to meet, and we talk about you guys, and we talk about what we see out of y'all, and we say, we haven't seen anything like this before. Y'all are authentic. Y'all are real. And I believe y'all are going to take Christianity and take the church and take this move of God somewhere we've never seen it go before. I'm going to be very quick tonight. We're going to wrap up soon. We're going to continue to worship. But I just want to say, give a call to action. What is our plan? What is our operation for Gen Z? What are we going to do for you guys? Because I know that y'all are very tired of hearing people talk and say what they want to do and say what they're going to do, and y'all are ready to see action. Parents, students, I'm ready for action, and this is our call to action for Gen Z. Here is our fight. The first thing we got to do is prayer. We have to pray daily for our students, intentionally fighting in the spirit realm before we ever send them out to a campus, before we ever send them out to college, out of our homes. And here's all that I ask, parents, that you would pray specifically that your students will have a fear and a reverence for God, that your student will be surrounded with divine favor, and pray that God would bring them godly influences and godly friends. This is just something I ask that you just do once a day. Take a minute out of your day. God, thank you for my kids. Thank you for my children. And just pray this simple thing. Reverence for God, surrounded with divine favor. What we mean by that is we want them to love God. We want them to love church. We want them to have a love for the Lord and serving Him in His kingdom. We want them to have divine favor. We want them to be able to get opportunities that they never would have gotten if it hadn't been for God. We want favor with their principals. We want favor with their teachers. We want favor in the colleges that they're applying for. And we want them to have godly influences and godly friends. That when we send them out and they go out on Friday nights, we're not worried about who they're with, and we know that the Lord is there with them and is there amongst them. Students, pray that the life you live daily would reflect the craftsmanship of your Father. And by the life you live, lost people would sense God working in your life. It's an easy thing to do. It's a hard thing to walk it out, but it's an easy thing. God, make me attractive to lost people, that they would see you in me. The next thing is prioritization. At ASM, we will prioritize every opportunity we have to encounter students and provide them with every opportunity to walk in alignment with the path that God has for their life. How do we do that? First thing is Wednesday night services. Man, if you're a student and you show up on a Wednesday night, I promise we're gonna try to get you as connected to our student ministry, but more than that, connected to a relationship with our Father. We take it so seriously. On any given Wednesday night, students will have the opportunity to intentionally experience one of the 4 pillars of our vision statement: know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and make a difference. And those are gonna repeat in 4-week cycles. So any week that y'all show up, you can expect to do one of those things. Hey guys, show up Wednesday night, we're gonna know God. Show up next week, we're gonna find freedom. The week after that, we're gonna discover our purpose. And the week after that, we're gonna make a difference. Because here's what I know I see with y'all's generation. Man, y'all have a passion for the Lord. Y'all do. Y'all love to worship Him, but what I want to see more than anything is I want to see y'all's relationship with Him and the relationship with Jesus grow deeper. I don't want y'all to come in here 7th grade and graduate in 12th and say, yeah, I came to a lot of services, I raised my hands a bunch of times during worship, went on a ton of mission trips, and it meant nothing. I've been in y'all's shoes. I've been a teenager. I know what it's like to go through the motions. I promise, if you show up on a Wednesday night, we're going to give every opportunity for you to know your Father better. The next thing is mission opportunities. This is really birthed out of our trip to Atlanta, and Gavin and Gracie just championed that so well when we were there. But just having opportunities for our students to get out and love on and give the gospel to the less fortunate members of our community. Whether that's prayer walks, whether that's meals for the less fortunate, apartment complex ministry, whatever that looks like, we're just asking that your students show up and they just love people well. Man, these kids, Hayden wasn't wrong at all. At all. This is the most well-behaved kids we have ever seen. I've been to other student camps, I've been on student retreats, whether I'm playing drums or something, and I'll watch kids with tasers get out there and get in fist fights, and I'm like, my goodness, where did this come from? Because it doesn't happen with our students. Why? Because they love each other, they respect each other, and they want to see the best for each other. And we just want to take that love that they have for each other, that respect they have for each other, and turn around to the people in our community who need Jesus the most. The next thing we want to prioritize is service in Agape Church. Getting students involved with our serve team, but also having a more direct impact with Agape kids. Every one of you students, whether you realize it or not, there's a student that is younger than you, whether in 3rd grade, 4th grade, who looks up to you. You have influence, you have impact on the generation that's to come behind you. And we want to give you the opportunity to serve that generation and serve them well. The last thing we want to prioritize is community with other believers. What that looks like in ASM, we call it Together. Sometimes it's a conference, sometimes it's a night of worship, sometimes it's a retreat coming up September 9th through 11th. But we want you guys to have community with other believers in your county, in your schools, and just people that are right across from you that you may never get the opportunity to see. That you have an opportunity to worship with, grow in a relationship with, and grow in community with. The last plan of action is passion. We will have a passion at ASM for seeing lost students come to a relationship with the Father, intentionally walking through the discipleship process. It's a huge passion of mine to do student ministry, and y'all, this is my dream job. I love getting to do this, and I love getting to see the students every single week. But more than that, I want to see lost students in Jones County have a relationship with the Father. And I'll go after that 10 times out of 10. That's where we call on your help. Students, you see them in your classrooms, you see them in the hallways. Man, get them in the door and we're gonna love on them like nobody's ever loved on them before. We're gonna give them the gospel and we're gonna walk them through the discipleship process so that they don't get left alone. You see it'll happen a lot of times. Somebody comes into a church, they get saved, and we're like, hey, heck yeah, that's awesome. And then they just get cast aside. Nothing else to do with. We don't want to do that. We want to see students come in, know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and then make a difference. Walk through this discipleship process. Our call to action. So we're going to pray. We're going to prioritize. And we're going to have a passion to see the lost saved. It's not a long message. It's not a fancy message. It's not, I don't have any props up here. There's not gonna be a memorable moment where you say, oh, I remember Josh juggling. That's not tonight. Tonight I wanna lay the groundwork and let you know that I'm taking this so seriously, and I want this to be the most intentional and the most productive semester of ASM yet. Me and Hagen talked about this driving home from Atlanta. And, we didn't know about this transition that was happening at the time. Hagen was, as we knew, still gonna be student ministry director. I was still gonna be sitting under him and sitting with him. And God just spoke to us so seriously. Let's have the most productive semester of ASM that we've ever had. Let's see students get saved. Let's see students walk in deeper relationship with the Lord. Let's see lost students in our county come through the door so that they can have a real experience with a Father that loves them. That's what we want to see for Generation Z. That's what we want to read about for Gen Z. That's the statistics that we want to look at next year and say, this is how many kids in Gen Z is getting saved. This is how many kids are inviting people into church. This is how many kids that are serving at a church or going to a church. Because if we don't see those statistics, we'll read the other ones. And we'll see Gen Z walking out of the church. We'll see Gen Z continually to struggle with anxiety and depression. We have a call to action to fight for this generation and to see God do amazing and incredible things in these students' lives. Students, I'm gonna fight for you with everything I have. Not for me, but that you can get a relationship with the Father. Parents, I take so seriously the opportunity I have weekly to sit with your students and do life with them. To parents and students, I might be a little bit more personally attached to your students. I might start talking to you a little bit more, hey, what's going on with so-and-so? Or I might start talking to your students, hey, what are you doing here? What does this look like in your life? We might get a little more personal than you're used to, and I might get in your bubble just a little bit, but I only do it because I don't want to see you graduate and walk out the doors of church and never come back. This is our call to action. I just want to pray right now. We're going to have a moment in a little bit where I'm actually going to ask the students to come up. I'm going to ask the parents to all surround them, and we're going to pray over you guys. We're going to worship just a little bit longer. So right now, God, thank you for the opportunity that we have to gather here today. God, thank you for the opportunity that we have to fight for this generation with everything we've got. We know that social media says this, and we know that the news says that. But more than anything, God, we see your hand working in this generation to have a powerful move of God like we've never seen before. And all we ask is that you won't let us get in the way. Jesus, whatever it is that you would have to do in this generation, whatever it is that you're stirring in their hearts and their minds and their souls, continue to do it. Don't let us stop it. God, soften hearts. God, release minds from the crippling depression and anxiety that these students face every single day. We just want you, Jesus. We just want that reliance on you. And wherever you're at, we want to come to. Jesus, we love you. We thank you. We praise you. We give you all the glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Come on, let's worship.